few words about the archaeology. Since 2006 we've been doing the archaeological digging. This is the Sun Pyramid, north, east. These are the places where we actually did the digging. This is the corner between north and east, 45 degrees. All other places are showing the construction material under the layers of soil, approximately 3 foot thick. Northeast corner, the year is 2006. We removed the layers of soil and we are finding a beautiful corner here. Northwest corner is shown with the green line. The red is just a perfect straight line. And the length from 560 meters to 760, 200 meters, 660 meters. As we can see, the green completely matched the red one, meaning that the corner, or northwest corner, is still very well preserved. Archaeological trench number 4C. We moved approximately 3 feet of soil and we are finding rectangular blocks. 13 feet by 5 feet, foot and a half, 16,000 pounds. Flat top, break at 90, flat side, break at 90, flat bottom, 6 flat sides, 6 breaks at 90 degrees. Obviously, this is not the work of Mother Nature, but of intelligent hands. We took samples from these blocks and sent them to 6 different institutes for materials. In Bosnia, in France, in Italy. Let's see what they said. From the Institute for Construction Materials from Tuzla, from Bosnia, they concluded that this was an artificial construction material pool at site. University of Sarajevo, they analyzed the sample and they said that it was a man-made concrete. Now, there are 2 elements that determine the quality of concretes. The first property is the hardness. The harder the concrete, the better the quality. Our modern concretes in 21st century have hardness from 10 megapascals to 60 megapascals. The sample that was analyzed at the University of Sarajevo has the hardness of 73.6 megapascals. Much better quality than what we make today. The second important property is the water absorption. If the water can get inside the concrete block during the winter, it freezes and then the concrete breaks. So the idea is to keep the water absorption as low as possible. Our norms today allow us to go up to 3% in water absorption. What we have here is around 1%, much superior than what we have today. According to all the books, the concrete was invented in ancient Rome 2,000 years ago. So it was very interesting what the descendants of ancient Romans would tell us. We sent samples to Politecnico di Torino in Turin, Italy. And basically they told us what we already knew, that the binding material for the concrete was produced by clay heating process. So the binder was clay and it was a concrete. The leading expert in ancient concrete today on the planet is Dr. Joseph Davidovich of France. He established the Institute for Geopolymers and he wrote 25 books about the ancient concretes and the building of Egyptian pyramids. He is a special advisor for the EU. When he got the samples, he told me it's obviously artificially made concrete. He put it under the electronic microscope and he found the binding agent which he calls geopolymer cement. According to Professor Mohamed Pashic of the University of Zenica in Bosnia, who analyzed 50 samples, some samples reach unbelievable level of 133 megapascals. Never in human history such a good quality concrete was made like the one that covers the largest pyramid on the planet. So the year is 2006. We started digging, removing the layers of soil, exposing those concrete blocks to the world. Of course, the photo shows our typical Bosnian productivity. One is working, one hand is working. And on the top of that, one is having a speech here. So, after the years of war in the 1990s, and the destroyed economy, one would say, hey, we have discovery of the biggest pyramids here in Little Bosnia. This is a chance for the prosperity, for the tourism, for the economy. Well, the cultural establishment of this country didn't think so. The first attacks came from the Bosnian archaeologists and historians from the University of Sarajevo. They were saying there are no pyramids in Bosnia because there were no pharaohs in Bosnia. No high civilizations. How is it possible to have pyramids? There are no traces of hundreds of thousands of slaves that would be required to build those pyramids. The National Museum from Sarajevo, they were attacking also. They are saying it's impossible, we know this terrain well, this guy came here to make money. And they wrote the first petition against the project. They sent it to the Bosnian government, asking the government to stop the project. Well, the Bosnian Prime Minister came in April of 2006. He saw those rectangular blocks. He said, this is a man-made concrete. He saw thousands of tourists coming to the site. He said, this is good for the economy. Mr. Osmanagic, you keep working what you're working, and don't worry about the jealous scientists. Well, those jealous scientists, they got very upset. They wrote a letter to the president of the European Archaeological Association, Dr. Anthony Harding, asking him to help them and to stop the project. So Dr. Harding started writing against the project, against our foundation and myself. But to no avail. We just kept working. Then he started a new petition, which was signed by 80 American, British, and French historians, anthropologists, geologists, archaeologists. They were saying that I was running the biggest hoax. I had to be stopped. Well, the Bosnian government rejected that petition. Now he got upset. So they sent a letter to all national European archaeological associations in Germany, in France, in Italy, in Croatia, asking them to boycott the project, telling the archaeologists not to go to Bosnia. And if they do, when they come back to their respective countries, they won't be able to find a job as archaeologists anymore. Every conference they had from 2006, they had our project as one of the main topics. Well, in the year 2006, I did not have archaeologists from Europe. According to the law in Bosnia, if you are to do the archaeological digging, of course you have to have archaeologists, you have to have tools and equipment and the finance and the project documentation. So what we did, we asked the Egyptian government for help. I asked them to send us 3 archaeologists and Egyptologists. The first one to come was Dr. Ali Barakat, the guy with 40 years of experience in geology and archaeology. He wrote books about building of Egyptian pyramids. He spent 42 days in Visoko, in Bosnia. He wrote the report, and he had it at the press conference on June 23rd, 2006. He ended his report with the words, "The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is a man-made pyramid." A big boost for us. The same day, however, from the National Museum, they are sending a letter to his boss, Dr. Havas, saying, "Your man confirmed that the pyramids were built in Bosnia. That's impossible. You have to stop him. So, 2 days later, Dr. Havas is having a meeting on June 25th in Cairo between the Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, and his Supreme Council of Antiquities, with one topic on the agenda: the effects of the discovery of Bosnian pyramids to the tourism in Egypt. Now imagine 20% of that $15.5 billion. 20% of tourists, instead of going to Egypt, coming to Bosnia. The most tourists are from Europe, from UK, from France, from Poland, from Russia. And Bosnia happens to be in Europe. 20% of $15.5 billion is over $3 billion. Discovery of the Bosnian pyramids is not a local issue. It's a global scientific, economic, and political issue. After the meeting, Dr. Havas came in front of hundreds of reporters and TV crews and said, there are no pyramids in Bosnia. Those so-called concrete blocks are just natural blocks. Dr. Barakat is no expert in pyramids. And Osmanagic, he's hallucinating. Dr. Barakat went back to Cairo, to Ministry of Geology, where he used to be a worker. And he was fired because he dared to speak his scientific mind without asking for the permission from his superiors. What about us? Well, we kept hallucinating and opened the project for the volunteers from all over the world. Never in a science one project attracted so many volunteers from all continents, and they are helping us, coming at their own expense, to expose more and more areas with the concrete blocks.